Hey guys, this is a lesson video to review slope, right? We did slope a lot this year, and I was just kind of picking a few review topics here these last 2 weeks. Been working on solving equations. I feel like that's something really important as you go into your foundations class and maybe your remediation class next year as you begin high school. That'll help out, and I also feel like slope is such a big deal for us with linear equations that you need to maybe review just a little bit of that. So I thought this week we'd do some review on slope. Um, we have a quiz on Thursday. Today is Tuesday. You had yesterday off because of Memorial Day. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 days of work this week. I'll be giving you information about finishing up for me the end of this week. And so we're just about at the end. This is the last lesson video that you're going to watch. So I know y'all probably jumping up and down at your computer screen right now to not have to watch any more of these videos. I'm jumping up and down because it's not been easy to make them, but this will be the last one, and it's on how to find slope using a graph and a formula. So again, I'm going to go pretty quickly because we've done most of this year. So here goes. I'm going to find or write the title down. Lesson title is just finding the slope. Again, when I say slope, I'm talking about the steepness of a line on a graph. So if you have a line that's graphed, say at 2 and 1, and then you have another point that's graphed at 6 and 4, right, and there's your line. What you're going to do today is to find the slope of lines that are graphed on graphs, and to do that, of course, it's a counting process, and it's the amount of rise over the amount of run, right, as a fraction, reduced, simplified with the right sign. So when I count rise blocks here, I'm counting blocks from one point to the other. So we're going rise for 3, run for 4. So I would say the slope on this line is 3/4. Now again, as a review, it's okay if we get improper fractions here. The key is I want the answer as a fraction, not a mixed number, not a decimal, but just a plain old fraction. So what I'm going to do each time here, guys, is because I got this graph for us to use, I'm just going to erase it and try a different problem. So every problem, I'm just going to kind of erase right here and start over. All right, so let's say that we have something like this. You have a point again at 2, 1, and this time you got a point at 3, 5, right? And I want to find the steepness of this line. Now this is a much steeper line. I can't draw it straight. Again, this tablet's not the best. All right, so there's my line. I'm counting blocks from point to point. I always like to count the lowest point to the highest point. So we're counting rise, run. So for me, rise is going to be up 4 blocks and over 1, right? So it's 4 over 1, and I'm good. You can leave it as 4 over 1. I'm going to do several more of these so you can watch me count blocks. We just want to make sure we reduce fractions. So let's say that we have 2, 1 again. And maybe we'll do this time, right? So we have this line, those 2 points. So my rise is going to be 4, run is going to be 2. So this time, answer is 4 over 2. Now 4 over 2 can be reduced by a common factor, so 2 goes into those. So we divide both of these by 2 and you get 2 over 1. So 2 over 1 is the best answer. If you look back at the graph, 4 over 2 is the same line as if you go up 2 and over 1 and up 2 over 1 and up 2 over 1. Again, we did this before. You guys know how to. So what about right now? Everything we've been doing has been positive slopes because our lines go uphill from the left to the right. right? All of our lines are doing that, going that way. What if our lines go downhill from left to right, like this? This has to be a negative slope. These are positive, right? All of them. All the lines that go uphill are positive. All the ones that go downhill are negative. So let's say we have a point at -6 and 2, and maybe we have a point down here at -2 and 1. And I'm trying to count the blocks. Up 1 over 4. So rise run's going to be 1 over 4, right? Up 1 time over 4 times. So I like 1/4 as an answer. The only problem with this is you've got to identify that this is a downhill line. From left to right, we're actually going downhill. So this has to be a negative. I don't care if you put the negative on the 1, if you put the negative just out front, if you want to put it on the 4. All of those are the same answers. This has to be a negative slope. Okay. A couple more things about graphs, then we're going to look at the formula. I'm just doing one big lesson this week, guys. Alright, so on the graphs, there's a couple of special times, and those times are when, let me get a bigger circle here. Alright. So those times are when a line goes straight up and down, right? A vertical line. So anytime on a graph that you have a line that goes straight up and down, if you think back to what we said in class, vertical lines, slope is no slope, right? That's your answer. Or you could put undefined, right, when it's vertical. If you have a line that's, let me erase this one, horizontal. Okay, so you're looking at now a line that just goes across like that. Then a horizontal line the slope equals 0. Just 0. Plain old 0, right? Alright, so that kind of goes over what you're going to work on today. I'm going to continue because I got some stuff with a formula. So if you don't have a graph and you don't want to graph it, remember our formula was y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? That equals to the slope. M is the slope. So I'll do a couple of examples here. Let's say that we have a 3 and a 4, and maybe a, I don't know, an 8 and a 9. Make it easy. So the y values get subtracted on the top. It says y2 minus y1. That part really doesn't matter. Just subtract the y numbers. I'm doing 9 minus 4. The key here is if you start with 9 on the top, you got to start with the 8 on the bottom. So it's 8 minus 3. Both these answers are 5. 5 over 5 reduces to 1 over 1. That means the slope is positive 1 over 1. Or just a plain 1 if you want to reduce it to a 1 is fine. But I like the fraction. Y'all know that. Next. How about -3 and 6 and -9 and say, I don't know, 4. Okay. So again, I'm going to do the y's first. I don't care which one is first. 4 minus 6. If I start with a 4, that means I have to start with the -9 on the bottom. -9 minus -3. Use the calculator. There's a lot of energy work here. So for me, if I'm doing KCC a lot here, I'm getting a -6 on the bottom. I'm getting a -2 on the top. Okay. So those are the right answers. We just can't leave our answer that way. You know, first of all, 2 negatives have to change to a positive. And 2 over 6 reduces to 1/3. So this is actually a positive 1/3 slope. Okay. All right, example here. What if you have a 4 and a 2 and a 4 and a 6? Y minus y. 6 minus 2. X minus x. 4 minus 4. equals 4 over 0. Okay. 0 on the bottom. When 0 is on the bottom, you either have two answers. You have to write words, no slope, or you can write undefined. That is when 0 is on the bottom. Let's do one where 0 is on the top. So say you have a 2 and a 3, and a 5 and a 3. Y minus y. 3 minus 3, x minus x. 5 minus 2 equals 0 over 3. 0 on the top is just a 0 slope. Right. That should cover all the types of the problems you're going to see this week. And I think you got 6 problems like this on the quiz. Our quiz is Thursday. That's the last grade of this class. Please try to study and do well on that. It shouldn't be hard. It's going to be a review. Okay.